Well, good evening, everyone. How you doing? Oh, we have a few people in here. Grandma Rose, hello. Homestead in the Highlands. Duncan 1900, Brenda, good evening. Teasers Pleasers, good evening. Let's see. Carrie Hyatt's in here. I know I missed a couple, but so I'll say hi everyone. To those of you new here tonight, typically we spend a fair amount of time going over Filmora, some editing questions, bits and pieces, this and that. But I did get an email this week that, as you can see underneath me here, says topic for some time. How do you set up your live show? Dual window, the ending splash screen with music. So apparently there's some interest in how we do our shows. And we use a software product called OBS, Open Broadcast Software, from the obsproject.com. It is a open source, free product. And it is very, very well known. And it is a very professional type piece of software. However, you can make it pretty fancy, or you can use it very plain. It works very well both ways. It's an encoding software, so everything you see here is, we're in our living room. Sherry's right over here. And everything is encoded here. The stream actually starts here and goes to YouTube, which then takes it and reconstructs it somewhat. They send it out in different formats, resolutions for various devices to view. In other words, most phones can't view full HD. I mean, they just don't have a screen capable to do that. And although some do, and I can't give you a list, but some do. But most of them cannot. And typically on a phone data line, if that's how they're receiving the show or anybody's live stream, they certainly are not going to be able to receive fast enough over the data line. If they get into an area where they can use Wi-Fi, they can do that, provided the Wi-Fi is strong enough. So anyway, let's I'm looking over here at the chat. Is there any direct questions this evening that would involve Filmora, as far as anything you've edited this week or thinking about doing, run into problems, don't know how to do something? If there is, just type them in the window here. We'll see if we can address them. If not, or even if so, I still have some other things that I do want to share with you, and that's on video content. Content is king, more so than any editing program. If you don't have decent content, it doesn't matter how flashy your editing is. It's not going to garnish the viewers that are necessary. Now, having said that, I have absolutely no idea what makes a video get 1 million views. I have no idea, because I've looked at a lot of videos that have well over 1 million views, and I just kind of scratch my head like, what is in here that caused this? I don't know. Sherry, what's Tara's mother's name?
Jill.
Jill? Jill Cooper, right? Jill Cooper? Made a video about how to fold a fitted sheet. Kind of a real short how-to video. It's not, what, 5 to 8 minutes or something. It's not very long. It's got over 1 million views. Incredible. So hopefully at least another 1 million people in the world somewhere know how to fold a fitted sheet. But it's that type of thing that it just takes off. So let's, I want to give you some resources here tonight. At least some stuff that I have used and I look at and refer back to frequently. So let me bring this over. This is a PDF file from storygreenlight.com. And as we scroll down through here, it's 27 questions to craft the perfect video. Well, if you're like me, you look at documents like this and say, okay, well, what's the background of the creator of this document? How is he qualified to tell me, this Jeff Barch? What's his qualifications? He's telling me how to do this. Okay, well, I'll take a look at it. And he kind of says it here in a nutshell. You, as a content creator, use creative video editing and storytelling to connect with your audience, turn up the impact of your message, and to change people's lives. Well, that's a very interesting concept. But again, I'm going back to who is this guy? So we'll go on down here. This is not a real long paper, but I do want to touch on most of it here. I don't know if it's better, I don't know if you all can read it clearly enough on your screens. I'm glancing in over here at, well, Alf. How are you doing, Alf? It is so good to see you in here this evening. And Carl Bohm's in here. Good evening. PG Nano Farm. All right. Now, I got to give credit where credit's due. This Story Greenlight, Alf told me about him. And I have sent him a couple emails, and I'm still waiting back to hear from him on a couple questions. But let me just go ahead and read through this a little bit right here. It has never been easier to make video content. All you have to do is pull out your phone, hit record, hit upload to a place like YouTube, and bam, you've created content and released it into the world. When that happens, you have single-handedly created the chance to teach, to entertain, or inspire thousands or even millions of people. We are on the low end of that totem pole, and we appreciate every one of you people joining us on this low end of the totem pole, because we're just not there. We don't have 1 million subscribers. We don't have thousands of people here in the room. But I certainly appreciate each and every one of you being here, and hopefully we can all work together, build each other up, give each other ideas, and grow. How cool is that? You don't have to wait for permission from someone else. You give yourself permission, and you're on your way to creating a better life for your audience, spreading your message, and empowering yourself at the same time. So why do some videos get shared and viewed millions of times and others don't? Why do some videos build an unbreakable bond between the creator and the viewer and others don't? Why do some videos make a life-changing impact on their audience and others don't? And there's lots of reasons. Here's the bad news. Creating video content that you're proud of and that other people actually want to watch is not an easy task. It takes a little bit of learning, but a lifetime to master. So now we're getting down to who this Jeff Bartsch is. He's built his career as a television editor in Hollywood, working with companies like ABC, NBC, Universal, Disney, Apple, and a whole bunch of others. I've personally contributed to the creation of thousands of hours of finished television, seen by millions around the world, and I've learned a lot along the way about powerful storytelling, creative video editing, and creating content that reaches deep into the hearts and minds of its audience. Okay, well, if this guy's good enough to edit for television, I'm sure I could learn a thing or two from him. There's a slight problem with that. The tools that we use, like Filmora, is not television quality tools. It just isn't. And I make no bones about that. That's not to say that you couldn't perhaps put something short together that would maybe be good enough to make a short advertisement for a local store down the street on a local television station. Yeah, you could probably do that with Filmora if you can get your foot in the right doors. But anyway, typically they use more hardware-based editing programs than software-based. What follows is part of the communication framework, the system I've learned and refined in my years in Hollywood. It will drastically improve any video you ever make, no matter what kind of content you create. How do I know this? Because most of the questions that follow have nothing to do with the actual content of your video. That's where you're the expert. The following 27 questions talk about the big picture of what you're doing. And when you ask the big questions first and create the content in light of those big answers, it changes everything. Are you ready to see a huge transformation in your content? Let's just briefly go over these and maybe we'll kind of touch and talk about them. I don't multitask all that super well. So if I'm reading this to you, I'm not looking at the chat. The chat's far enough away, I have to squint to see it a little bit. But Sherry's over here. If you got a question, please put it in all caps or a comment. And she'll throw something at me.
You mean I'm supposed to be watching? You mean I'm supposed to be watching the screen?
She'll throw something at me and get my attention. So, setting your master plan. What is my desired outcome? What do I want my audience to know, feel, or do after experience this piece? And what is my message? The critical ways to know your audience. Who is my specific audience? Well, YouTube, in their analytics section, can tell you who your most popular viewers are. And that will certainly be a step in the right direction. You can target your videos toward your current viewers, or if you're trying to hit a different demographic, you can perhaps alter your content to bring in different age groups and so on and so forth. Number 4, how will my audience be better off for having experienced this piece? Number 5, what does my audience want? Number 6, should I give them what they want? Number 7, what does my audience need? Number 8, should I give them what they need? Number 9, what does my audience expect? And number 10, should I give them what they expect? What does my audience not expect? Should I give them what they don't expect? What problem does my audience have? How will this piece address that problem? Story is the secret weapon that everyone uses, but few understand.
Did you see Serenity's question?
No, I did not.
How do I take screen shot and make as my intro pic?
How do you take a screenshot of your computer? Is that the question? And then turn that into a pic?
That was a Serenity Mountain Homestead is asking that.
Okay. Let me make the assumption first that you're operating a PC. And the most used tool that I'm aware of that does the best job is available, at least was on all Windows 10 machines. If you type in the little search bar down at the bottom and you just type in the word snip, you will come up with a desktop app that's called a snipping tool. You should be seeing that on your screen right now. Let me go ahead and click that. This is it right here. This is the snipping tool. So if you want a picture, if I want a picture of what this screen is or any portion of it, I would just simply hit New. It puts the entire screen in like a fog. You get and I don't believe this is coming out where you can see it, but you will get a crosshairs for your mouse, where you simply start in any corner, press the left-hand button, and draw around whatever it is you want to take a picture of. Now, I'm sure that this isn't being shown. Well, it might be, I don't know, because my screen is frozen because of this tool. But now I know you can see this. This is what I have just taken a picture of. And I just save it as a picture. It saves it as a PNG file. There's a lot of extra tools in here. You can come in and you can highlight it. You can put additional lettering in. You can do all kinds of stuff. In the past, a lot of people would use the print screen function on their PC. They would open up Paint and paste it into Paint and then save it as some sort of file. This is a little bit faster. It does a cleaner job. It's more enhanced. If you don't want that picture, you just simply close it. I'm not going to change the changes, so I just say no, and I'm right back to where I was at. So I'm hoping that if that is not what your question was, or if it doesn't answer it fully, please indicate so, and we'll go further. So I believe I was right here in this area. The secret weapon that everybody uses but few understand. Number 15, is my piece telling a story? Number 16, if not, how could I add story elements into it? Number 17, how does the piece show some sort of transformation? Number 18, how large or important is the transformation? Number 19, does the amount of difficulty of the story process match the size or importance of the transformation? And number 20, if the piece doesn't have a specific story or transformation, what compelling reason does this piece have to keep people interested? Shaping the piece by itself. Number 21, who else is making pieces like this? Is everybody you know making a video on painting their barn purple? Number 22, how will this piece be similar to what they are doing? There's nothing wrong with making a video that mimics somebody else's. I'm not saying to copy their video. That's not what I'm saying at all. But if you've watched somebody make a video on making a green bean casserole, pretty popular dish. I'm sure everybody in here has eaten green bean casserole. And if you make a video on it, I'm sure there's hundreds of others. But you could make your own twist on it. So don't be afraid to do that. How will this piece be different from what they are doing? Number 24, does the piece let the audience know exactly what to expect from the very beginning? Excuse me. Number 25, how is the piece holding the audience attention for as long as possible? Number 26, how do I feel personally about this piece? And number 27, how can I improve this piece from what has already been done, especially what's been done by me? So these are just 27 questions you can ask yourself. I'm not going to read the rest of this. Storygreenlight.com, if you type that in, you will come up with this. It is a YouTube page. Story Space Greenlight. He only has 3,900 subscribers. I say only, that's a fair number of subscribers. That's more than we have. For right now, anyway. But, you know, the guy's got some qualifications. Looking in his About section here, and he's got a lot of good content in videos. And like I say, the fellow you see in here, that Alf 270 guy, he's the one that told me about this guy. I didn't know it. But I've gone through a lot of his stuff. It's well worth your time getting there. If you go to this page, right up here at the top, there's the free 27-point content checklist. That's what we just went over. Doesn't cost you anything. You can download your own copy. It gives you a point of reference, something to start with, something to think about on your next video creation. And the content behind the editing is what's really important, leastwise in my opinion. The editing is like putting the icing on the cake. So much for the little bit about trying to get you to think a little bit about what you're doing with your video, what content you're going to create, kind of plan things out maybe a little bit ahead of time, but don't let it eat you up. Don't get to the point where you frustrate yourself and you oh, I don't have the quite right this, I don't have the quite right that. Just do it. That's the best way I can say it, is to just do it. And then everyone will get to be a little bit better. It comes easier with time. Okay, one of the other questions that I had was, how long should it normally take to edit these videos? Talking specifically about Filmora, the people that have asked me this question, they've gotten the program and they maybe feel that it's taking too long to edit the videos. Well, the editing process, as far as speed, is going to be 100% based upon your hardware. So how potent of hardware do you have? And I'm not being snobby at any company or any builder if your PC is 10 years old. Filmora will run on PCs that are 10 years old. It will not be as fast because the PC is not as fast. Typically, a desktop PC is a better dollar investment than a laptop. But a desktop is not near as easy just to pick up and carry around and use. So a lot of people will go with laptop PCs. They'll go down to Walmart or Best Buy, or they'll see Super X Electronics Store has this special sale, and they have blowout prices on PCs, and I can go get a brand new PC with Windows 10 on it for $189. You can surf the web with it. You can maybe watch some YouTube with it. Yeah, you can edit videos with it. But it's going to take some time. It's going to take a long time. So, video editing loves threads and processor cores. The more cores you have, to a degree, the better off you are, which produces the more threads. A decent amount of memory is something else that's very, very desirable, because whatever memory it doesn't have in RAM, it's going to have to write things to the disk. And if you have one of these inexpensive PCs, chances are the disk is solid, or is not solid state. It is a rotating mass, and typical laptop hard drives that are not solid state, typical ones are 5,400 RPM. The higher dollar ones are 7,200 RPM. Well, price on memory has come down, and a lot of drives are now solid state drives, which are virtually memory chips. They've come down to reasonable prices. If you're going to go buy something or build something, you're going to want to put a solid state drive in it. I have a website here for those that might be interested. It's called Logical Increments. There's no fee in this website. They have recommended builds if you're at all interested in building your PC, but you can also garnish a lot of information here. They don't really get into laptops. They're talking about desktop PCs. But what they have really interesting is they have guides for, and I'm just going to drop this down for everybody to see. Building a PC for virtual reality gaming. Building a PC for emulation. Building a PC for living room gaming. Building a home theater PC. Building a PC for video editing. Building a PC for live streaming. Building a PC for 3D rendering and animation. Building a PC for music, audio production. And building a PC for photo editing design. So, if you want a PC that does all of the above, you can do that, but it may not, it may fall down in some areas, and it may excel in others. So the fact of the matter is, everything has become so specialized, again, due to software, that what is it you want to do with your PC? If you're buying something new,
Country Girl, Daryl, if I purchase Filmora, can I put it on both my PC and laptop?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can do that. You cannot use them both at the same time, technically, legally. But yes, you can put it on your laptop and you can put it on your PC. You can transfer files between them. Excuse me. So anyway, and getting back to this site, they have literally specialized different builds for all of these different end uses. And within each of these builds, they have hit various price points. So this particular list is the best PC for video editing. And they'll go down through here. And they start out with budget editing PCs, and they're saying, oh, about $700 to start with. That power using builds, $1,100. Professional editing, $2,000.
Can you use the same registration number on two machines?
Yes.
David Howell asked that.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can use the same registration number on two machines. Because if you own two machines, you can have a backup copy. That is perfectly legitimate. It's not a, and I'm sure I know why David has asked this because I know a little bit about his background, but it's not like a dongle thing where it's this one copy all by itself, not touching anything else. The software you'll state you can have a backup copy, and obviously you can have it on a couple of PCs that you own, but you can't use both of them at the same time. It only makes sense.
City Homestead. It takes 3 laptops for me to work. One is missing the D key, but it's okay for videos. One has all the keys but can't do graphics, and one I use for graphics. I can't wait to just have one good machine.
Wouldn't it be nice if they just had like a blender and you could just like pour them all in and come out with what you want? So anyway, let me continue here. They go into a video editing supercomputer for $2,600. And what they call a God tier editing video PC for $5,000 plus. I've had a lot of people ask me about graphics cards because that's a real big thing with PC gamers. The only piece of software that I am aware of that relies heavily on a GPU is DaVinci Resolve. Adobe Premiere does not. None of the others are. They're just not that heavy into the graphics processing unit. But DaVinci Resolve, which is noted to be one of the finest for color correction and so on and so forth, real high-end color editing, that they rely heavily on a graphics processor unit. Now, I'm not saying you can't go out and buy a gaming PC and have very good luck with what you want to do for editing. Typically, any, I'm going to say mid to high tier gaming PC will edit any videos that you create probably very well and do a good job with it. Typically, you will find that the more cores you have, up to a point, up to 8 to 10 cores, the better off you are. Once you hit that plateau, then performance starts scaling back and falling off. This talks a little bit about the hardware, the CPU. They talk about both Intel and AMD in here. They talk about graphics cards. They talk about RAM. And a lot of people aren't even aware that the memory, the RAM, in their computer is available in different speeds. Some is considerably faster than others. Again, depending on what your hardware will support. This is where it gets a little touchy as far as building your own. There, you could go out to Best Buy or go jump on Amazon or some various eBay stores and, okay, this looks like a good motherboard.
Okay, so David's asking, so shared processor card with about 16 gigabyte would do well?
It should. If there's no other bottlenecks. When you say shared processor card, I'm not sure exactly what
Miss Wanda's here.
architecture you're talking about. Well, hi, Wanda. How are you doing? I know there's a lot of people in the chat here that I've not addressed, and I apologize. I say hello to each and every one of you, and thank you very much for being here. We certainly appreciate it. So let's talk about the RAM a little bit. Some people have the idea that, okay, well, I can get this computer on sale at Best Buy, and it's only got 8 gig of RAM in it, but I know this kid down the street that he's upgraded his gaming computer, and he's got 32 gigs of RAM that I can get for very little money. I'll just stick in this computer, and I'll have a killer system. It doesn't always work that way. The motherboard may not be compatible with that speed of RAM. The CPU may not be compatible with it. There's all kinds of places to develop bottlenecks. It takes a lot of research. So unless you're doing it on a hobbyist standpoint, or you have a relatively good set of directions in front of you that state you should get this motherboard or this motherboard, which supports this CPU or that CPU in this kind of RAM and how much of it, you're better off buying, and I'm going to use the term here, you're better off buying a name brand computer that's not throwing any kind of barbs at Larry's computer repair store down here on the corner. He may build great systems, and if you have him as a good friend, he's been in business a long time, and you trust what he does, well, that may be a viable option. But if I don't know the guy, and I don't know how long he's been in business, I don't want to go spend $500, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 with him if he's going to close his doors next week. So you're better off buying an HP or a Dell. Those are the two.
David Howell, hey Daryl, how much you want to build me a machine?
I think he would have to get have to let all the maws go out of his billfold. Where was I? I'm totally lost. I guess I haven't had anybody ask me to build a machine for a long, long time. Anyway, it takes a little research. If you want to do it from a hobbyist standpoint, great, more power to you. The information is out there, but you will spend probably weeks putting together what you want. The computer that I use here, we use it for, I'm going to say, entertainment. We watch YouTube on it. We do all that. I use it for streaming. That's what I'm streaming through right now. I use it for editing my videos. I use it from a business standpoint. I make some things out of wood, and we sell those. I keep my records on here. Use it for research. So it's kind of an all-around PC. Happens to be a Dell, happens to be a laptop. It's not a real lightweight laptop. It's an Inspiron 2015. It's a 7000 series. It's about 4 years old. And I'm going to bring this up just to share with you here. If you go into this, you will see that, and I don't know why Windows does this. When I say, let's see the cameras that I have, it only shows the 922 Pro Stream, which is right at this moment. I'm not even using it. It is connected. When I go down to imaging devices, that's where it shows the other cameras that are connected to this at the present time. But when I go into my audio inputs and outputs, and this is what I have done on the streaming side, I'm sure you'll have very few PCs that look like this, where they have virtual cables, they have this 3DSA USB sound is a external sound card. This 2-USB audio device is an external sound card. This is the other side of this sound card up here. The C media is an external sound card. The Canon audio source, this is, I have the ability to connect my phone to my PC and use it as a camera. That's what that piece is there for. The Realtek audio is the default device in this. The audio codec, well, that's my mixing board that I run all my sound through for our streams, especially on Monday night. We have Skype come in on a single channel. I have our phone calls come in on another channel. I have the system sounds come in on another channel. My mic comes in on a channel. Sherry's mic comes in on a channel. And I can add additional mics. And I mix all that down and ship it back into the PC so that it all comes out into OBS. So anyway, this is just a few of the other things. I'm sure that some people have heard me talk about Voice Meter. That's a product that's still currently installed on this, but it is not in use, and the reason that I am not using it, it's very simple. It takes up resources, and I have found with the additional graphics and stuff that have been running and developed our show into, I don't have enough horsepower. I run out of memory, I run out of CPU. The CPU in this, where's it at? Processors. This is a 4-core unit. It's an i7 6500U CPU, 2.5 gigahertz. This is more of a business class CPU. It's about 4 years old. And, well, let's see where we're at. Right now, as you can see here on the task manager, I'm running somewhere usually between 60 and 70% for the little bit we're doing here right now. I mean, Sherry's not active over here. I have very little showing on the screen. The more you have going on, the more it eats this up. If I were to try to render a video in Filmora right now, this would peg this out at 95%. So that's the reason I'm no longer using that voice meter. Anyway, I'm a fan of Dell computers. I think their service is second to none. I think it's better than HP from a service standpoint. I'm not saying their computers are any better. Dell doesn't make the components. HP doesn't make the components. They're assemblers. They put them together. However, they're big enough assemblers that they do have non-interchangeability with a lot of off-the-shelf components. So it's kind of a priority system. The same way with HP. So if you do go with going out and buying a new one, I would still recommend a Dell or an HP because of their support. If you do have a problem, who was it? out of Goshen. I'm sure many of you are aware of them. He had a Dell computer and had a problem. And they worked him through it and got him going. But he thought he had lost everything. Anyway, getting back on this website also talks about solid state drives versus hard disk drives. They talk about motherboards, talk about power supplies. This is another big thing. So this is a great website to start with as far as learning about some different things. You can come in here and you can say, well, what are they looking at for streaming? And although, in my mind anyway, YouTube is the biggest purveyor of...
What about SSDs? Do you recommend them?
Absolutely, a solid state drive. That's what that stands for. SSD, solid state drive. And there's different speeds in those. So it's like different grades. You can get faster ones or slower ones. But all of them are at least 4 times or 5 times faster than any HDD, hard disk drive. There's a number of other outfits out there that especially cater to the gaming crowd besides YouTube. And they talk in here again about building PCs for gaming. You're going to find the prices kind of go into the same categories, and they usually actually exceed where they did for the video editing. But they pretty well spell it out. Anybody that has a working interest in this, you could easily spend a couple hours on this website. Now, for another source for everybody to that has any type of interest in either building their own or maybe maybe comparing Macintosh and PCs, or maybe comparing different laptops, or what can you do with old equipment. I'm going to point you to another website or another YouTube channel that is called Linus Tech Tips. Now, this is a real sizable channel. If you're paying attention to the screen here, you're going to find that they have over 7.5 million subscribers. He's able to, it's a younger fella that actually the company he started out working for when he started his first YouTube channel is no longer in business. They went bankrupt. He has his own business now that appears to do very well. They have some real big, serious meetups. He's over in Alf's area, only up in Canada. So he's up north of Seattle somewhere, Vancouver, I think. But this is a good channel, I think, anyway, for some lighthearted looking at equipment that most of us could only ever dream about having, as well as, hey, what can I get by on a budget? He does talk about builds. He had a video that came out not too awful long ago where they sat in, I think he had his secretary in his office call up various companies, including Dell, HP, MCI, or MSI, I guess. I'm sorry, not MCI, MSI.
They're wanting to know if there's going to be links later to find these places.
Oh, okay.
Yes or no answer?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, there will be links because I've only given you 3, so yeah, I could do that. Matter of fact, I'll do that right now. Okay, the link.
Well, when you're done, put them in the description.
The link that I just put in was for Linus Tech Tips.
Okay.
And as I started to say, he put out a video not too long ago where he had his secretary call, because he has a unique voice. People would maybe recognize his voice. Anyway, he had his secretary call, kind of stating that she wanted to buy a gaming PC for her brother and had a budget of about $1,500. And what would they recommend? What would they sell? They wound up buying like a half a dozen different PCs from all these different manufacturers, and they kind of rated them. Okay, what was the experience on the phone? Were they helpful? Did they sell them what they wanted? Was it a good deal? How, when they received the unit, you know, how was it packaged? How was it shipped? Was everything there? And he kind of gives a scorecard down through everything. Which one was the best buy and so forth. So, like I say, just some amusement type little pieces that he has money to burn and shares it with others on what you can get, what you can't get, and so on and so forth. Anyway, I find it an interesting channel. So I put in the link for Linus Tech Tips. I'm going to go back to video editing since that's our topic. And of course, once you're on this website, you can go back and get any of them. Okay, the link I'm throwing in the window here right now is for logical increments. And story green light is right here. So that third link is for story green light. All right. We're kind of running out of time here. So I want to jump into some more of this other question. I'll bring this back over. How do you set up your live show, the dual window, and the ending splash screen with music? I have a little bit of a problem showing that online, but we're gonna play with it. We're gonna see what we can do. Let's see what I have here. All right, I'm gonna create a new scene here, and this is why I think you'll find that I know you can't see me doing any of this. That's what I'm going to try to show you here in just a moment. Okay, and I think you'll see very quickly here, but we'll give it a shot. What you are now looking at is my monitor that I am running OBS on. Let's see, how can I show this best? All right, this window right here. This is my preview window. This is my broadcast window. this is what you're seeing. But because I'm looking at the monitor and it's going out, coming back, and going out, coming back, we have a never-ending loop of what I have here. So let me, I don't know if you can see this or not. We're going to try it. I'm going to first just add a video capture device. I'm going to add my camera, add existing, say OK. And, geez, there's so many of me in there, I can't count them all. But what I've done is I've added my camera into the scene here. And I'm doing this live. I can do this offline where you can't see it, and then just bring it over. But I can also, well, let's see what I can do here. Okay. I am going to add another capture device. Add existing. Okay. What I have added here is a webcam that I have pointing at the screen. Let's see if I can get it set up here somewhat.
Country or Bandana, is there a program that can be used with an iPad that will allow you to share photos while live streaming?
I can't answer that. I'm sorry. I do not know. All right. So I've taken this other camera, I've put it in front of me, I have added it to this scene so I can fill up the scene here. And again, I run into the same issue that it's, when I transition this over, you can see it just repeats itself, repeats itself, repeats itself. So I have a real problem in trying to show you how I do it, but I can get everybody dizzy here. If I can have it close enough here, this might work. Okay, I would go in here, for example, and I'm going to add an image. And I know that this is very tough to see, so just kind of bear with me. I'm going to add an image, and I'm just going to leave it at default. I can name it or whatever. I'm going to say, okay. I get a window here then that pops up, and it wants to know what image file I want, so I go browse, and I can go into my pictures, and we will just, oh, here we go. We'll just grab a picture of Joel Salatin, and I'll say, okay. I can stretch it to fit the page. I can center it. I could have multiple copies of it. Let me cut this over. Now, if what these pictures are actually doing, they're actually covering up my camera. So if I change the order, this is just like when you're editing a video. it's kind of layered. If I change the order, then my camera comes up on top.
Is that still Filmora?
This is in OBS.
Okay. City Homestead just asked what software.
This is in OBS. But again, the question was, how do we do the multiple scenes? How do we split the screens?
Okay.
The other question was music. Well, I can open up OBS here and I can go into what they call a media source. And I will say, okay. And it will ask me what local file I want. So I can come over here to music. I have some stuff here downloaded from YouTube that I can play without getting into trouble. I can loop it, or I can just play it. Capture device. And you guys are not hearing it.
Freaky Geek, can you use OBS with Filmora? As I thought this was all about Filmora myself.
We typically talk 100% about Filmora.
Filmora is the editing program.
Filmora is the editing program. Filmora is, and I have it up here.
And at City Homestead, OBS is one way to go live streaming.
Yes. Yes. So, and I kind of thought that's what the questions wanted to go. So I said, okay, we'll kind of touch on this a little bit here tonight. But Filmora, here, you guys will probably appreciate this screen. This is the Filmora screen, which is what you see when you go to edit your videos. And I started tonight out. I said, if there's anybody that has any questions about editing, they've had a problem, they want to know how to do something in Filmora, please type it in the chat, and we will be sure to address that because that's our primary purpose here. We went on a little bit of a binge here this evening. We talked about content. We talked about other things besides editing. We talked about hardware, and we talked a little bit about OBS. So we kind of ran the whole gambit here a little bit tonight.
It's after 9 o'clock.
So. Okay,
Are the extra packs for transitions and effects worth the money to you?
They are not to me, but they may be to you.
Can you import Adobe After Effects into Filmora?
No. Well, you can use parts of it, but if you own After Effects, I don't know why you would want to also own Filmora, except it's a lot simpler. It's a lot easier. I mean, After Effects is an editor in its own right. Yeah, tell Dawn that. Well, I'll tell her. Dawn, I want to talk to you tonight after we're done, so we'll get a hold of you.
You're in trouble. I don't know. I sent folks over to Pusa Studios while you were chatting.
Oh, okay.
And I told them, I typed in smudge, ampersand, to me it's still a pound sign, ampersand smudge, two-family homestead dash raid, and some of them went over and did it. Well, they did it real fast. So they were calling us out. Dawn said we're up to 3741. So when we leave, I'm gonna put it up there again.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, Dawn. That's true. It's you and me. We're constantly in it, you know?
All right. So I know it's been over an hour. Does anybody have any questions? I mean, it's typically Filmora all night, on a Tuesday night. Speaking of Tuesday night, let's talk a little bit. Next Tuesday night is actually Christmas Day. As far as I know, we have no plans to be anywhere. I will be here, and we'll probably go live. And if you all want something to do and sit and chat, we'll do that. If you have a question, a problem, or anything like that, be sure to send me an email during the week. I'm happy to get with you on the phone, or whatever it takes. If we can help, we will do so. That's just who we are.
Country Homestead Preacher. Did you see my question? Have to admit, no, I didn't.
Okay, Sherry's going to scroll back, see if she can find it here real quick.
Country Homestead Preacher, could you post it again? I don't know how far back you posted it. I'm scrolling. Unless Dawn or Susie saw it and I didn't.
Yeah, I did not. Country Homestead Preacher, please repost your question here so we can find it real easily, and we'll address that. We will hang on here for you.
Also, if anyone is interested in joining in 2019 a seed swap and or a cookbook swap and or joining a boomerang box, email us. Or if you're on Facebook, I have a file on our group. You can put your information there. I've gone up quite a bit and I don't see it.
In the lower right corner of some videos.
Oh, okay.
No, that is not through Filmora. You're seeing that on YouTube videos. That is a function of YouTube. You can do branding through YouTube on your creator channel. You have the ability to upload a picture if you want. In some cases, they do not. And there's a little subscribe square or something like that. That is actually an overlay of the video on YouTube. It does not follow the video. When I say that, I mean if that video is embedded, for example, in a Facebook page, that little subscribe button is not there. Now.
Oh. Country Homestead Preacher, that's a YouTube.
That's what I just told him.
Yeah, like our smudge in the corner.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Matter of fact, if you see...
Wait, watermark stain. If you use the wrong kind of ink, freaky, it just might.
Yeah. Now you can watermark your videos with Filmora. I mean, I could... If you look at our live screen right now in the lower right-hand corner, is a picture of our dog Smudge, that if you hover over it, you can subscribe to our channel. And please do so, if you haven't already. But that is an overlay by YouTube. I could put that image in the stream here where it is not an overlay by YouTube. It would not be a clickable link. It would just be a watermark. And I can do that in any video. I can put in our website. I could put in our Facebook page. I could put in anything I want to do and just have it be part of the video. So I'm hoping that answers your question on that. Now, was there any other questions? I thought I saw David type one, but I missed it. Watermarks helps to prevent theft of videos. Well, yeah, sort of, maybe. Could. If a person's going to go out and steal your video, they can go out and steal it anyway.
It's better to watermark your videos with Filmora than it is to count on the icon in the corner.
Well, the icon in the corner, that's why I say it is not part of the video. That's part of the overlay process. I can go out to YouTube and download any video I want.
David wants to know how long to do smudge animations.
Oh, okay. That's what it was. And that's why I went and got this. I have, David, and it cost me $4.99. I don't use this all the time, but I use it some of the time. There is an app on my phone, let me see if this will show, called My Pets. And through some setup on the phone, you can upload your own image, your own video, or your own image, and then they mask that image where they can bend it and tweak it in certain ways to match a person's voice. And you know, it never perfectly matches, but it's good enough. It gives the impression of the animal talking. The little phone version here is good for maybe 2 minutes. If you all watched the intro that we had for last night's guest, there was considerably more time involved in that than 2 minutes, but you just keep putting them together. And so with Filmora, you can do all that joinery. You do it as a picture-in-picture. You can control the size, where it is on the page, so on and so forth. The video, the promo video that we did for A Farm Girl in the Making last night, that's the one I'm talking about. It was about 4 minutes long, maybe a little over. And I had somewhere between 6 and 8 hours in doing that video.
Yeah.
I really don't want to put that much time into it for a little 3 or 4 minute video that goes out and just kind of announces who we're going to have as a guest.
David wants to know where I might find that app. In the App Store?
Yeah, I found it on the App Store. It is called My Talking Pet. Now, there's a couple of them out there. There's a free one, but it doesn't do as nice a job as the one that's $4.99.
In fact, I think I just sent you a message today about one that was posted on Facebook.
Oh, okay. So,
speaking of Kate, there she is.
Now there's also a PC program that you can use that is, oh, let me think here. It is called Crazy Talk. But Crazy Talk, you can get into some money on that. It does a lot more. Just depends on how advanced you want to go. It would also take a lot less time because you would, I think you can record up to 15 minutes on it or something. Yeah, Crazy Talk. So if you just do a search on Crazy Talk, well, here I can. Let's see where we're at here. Actually, I guess the site is Real Illusion. Create 3D talking heads. Oh, if you use the code HOLIDAY10, you get an extra 10% off. And if all you folks go out there and buy this, tell them that I sent you, maybe they'll send me one I could have for free. Probably not.
Okay, Kate, that sounds good. Yeah, just send me some info and I'll message you back.
There's your prices. Standard version's $49, Pro's $149, and their pipeline version, whatever that is $199.
Yeah, David, I know how you feel. Look who's next to me.
So anyway, that's another option if you wanted to do some of that. Anything else, or are we pretty well wrapped up?
I think we're wrapped up.
I think we're pretty well wrapped up. So, what, are we sending everybody to Pusa's or to 1870s?
Pusa's, I think they should go to Pusa's
Yeah, Pusa Studios.
real quick.
Yeah, go into Pusa Studios. Tell them Two Family Homestead sent you. By all means, jump in there and say, just
yeah, David, is that what this is, retired life?
just jump into Pusa Studios and say Two Family Homestead sent us.
Well, I put it in there. I put the
link.
grade number. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
And,
Carrie, you go ahead and get some sleep. Your little goats are just adorable. Oh, they're 1870s. That's right. They're not on tonight.
okay. Oh,
You're
and
right.
that's the other thing I wanted to mention.
So after you go to Pusa's and put in # smudge 2 Family Homestead raid, Country Girl is going live.
Okay.
And next Monday night, our guest is Big Bear Homestead.
Jason Robin.
Jason and Robin.
And if all goes well, we will have others.
Yes.
So, yeah, next Monday night will be a very special night. We will probably be broadcasting till at least midnight. And I don't know how many we'll have. Potentially quite a few. We'll just have to wait and see. So, everybody have a great week. If you're doing nothing on Christmas Day, we will be here.
Yes, we will.
And if not, have a wonderful Christmas. And if you're traveling, do so safely. Wish everybody well.
Have a great week, folks.
Take
Bye.
care. Thanks. Bye-bye.